Okay, 20 minutes timer start. So I'm solving a really easy question right now because it's already late for me. So given a string s containing the characters, determine if the input string is valid. And input string is valid if open brackets must be closed by the same type of brackets. Open brackets must be closed in the correct order. Every closed bracket has a corresponding open bracket of the same type. Uh, so this is true. This is true. This is true. This is true. Actually, I've already done this question before, like before 1 year or some months before. I think we need to use a set stack for this, right? Because only if we use a stack we will know if it is valid or not. There is no any other way. There might be other way, but stack is the best. So if I have kept all this in stack, then if it is empty then it will be true, otherwise it will be false. So if we do this and then this, suppose this, okay, so close bracket will be removed by empty bracket, and we have a opening closing curly bracket. Now we had needed this bracket, since we do not have this. Now this, it will be false. It will work even for this, something like this. So there is a open bracket. So how will I do some for if it is stacked? Good question. I think I would go until I find some closing bracket, yeah, until I find something opening. Oh, I thought that I solved this question before, but what will I do in this case? So suppose if I have kept everything in an array, and then if I'm coming from back, but actually instead of keeping in an array, I think I should just start putting it in a stack from the beginning. So whenever I find anything closing for that, and then I can just remove it. Okay, I find a closing, then I will remove it. I find a closing, then I'll remove it. I find this, and then I will remove it. And if it is empty at last, then that is my answer. So suppose this will not, this will also work in this case as well. And suppose if I find something like this, then so this will be removed, and this would not be removed. This cannot be removed here. Yeah, I think I can do that. So first of all, let map is equal to and then and what should I do? And then just keep track of the last number, right? Constant of s, or say previous is equal to s0, and then I can just start from, I think, 1 is less than s dot length, and I plus plus, right? So if this is the case, then I is equal to 1 from 1 to s dot length. yeah, from 1 to I need to go until I start length. So what I can do is, if this is a current, right, I need to find now um so the previous one. So I will already have a previous one, right? So um but there can be also a case, if can there be a case like this where the closing bracket comes in the beginning? So if there is nothing here, then it means that it is a closing bracket. So if it is a closing bracket, then just return false, right? Or no? What am I doing? Why am I making this so complicated? Oh my god, I cannot believe this. Can there be a closing bracket or not? Open brackets must be closed. Open brackets must be closed in the correct order. Okay. No, this is not a good solution. Okay, let's think about it again. So what I'm doing is, I'm just looking at it and putting at it, looking at it. So whenever I get a closing bracket, then I will do something, right? So okay, actually like I'm making complicated because I'm thinking a very optimal solution. I'm thinking about returning whenever I find something, but let's not do that. Let's think about edge cases later. In left, yeah, but until then, that is one use case. And what if I find something like this? If I find a closing bracket, I think I should have done something like this actually. Yeah, so if there is a closing bracket in left, then immediately I can return false, right? Or if uh, or if I if or if or if I find a closing bracket but last opening bracket is not does not match, then I can just return false immediately. Yeah, so I can just do that actually. Equal 0. Current is equal to SI, right? So if it is an opening bracket, then add to array, add to stack. Yeah, I can just add to stack if it is an opening bracket. Okay, but if it is an if closing bracket, then then pop and see if it is a match. So if it is a closing bracket, then I'll just pop. Okay, so if it is a closing bracket, then I'll just stack that pop, which will give me last opening bracket, and and if and if does not match, then I'll just return false immediately. But if it matches, then yeah, but if it matches, then I'll just remove remove it and then start with another number. Okay, but what if it is a closing bracket and there is nothing? If it does not match, or if stack is empty, yeah, then return 0, then return false, right? So yeah, I think this will, so if there is a closing bracket in the left, then return false, right? So if suppose if this is the case, then this would also be returned. So if I find a closing bracket but there is nothing in this stack, right, then I'll just return false immediately. So last opening bracket is equal to stack dot pop, or we can say stack dot length -1. Yeah, but what will JavaScript return for stack for array -1? Because if the length is, so suppose if array is empty, then array -1, what will it return? Undefined. Okay, so if there is a last opening bracket, or if there is no any bracket, right, if it is false, if it is undefined, or if it does not match, then return false immediately and continue. So yeah, that's it. So how will you know if it is a opening bracket or not? I will know if it is an opening bracket or not if so since this is a closing one, right? So if map current, so since the key is always closing bracket, so opening bracket will always be undefined, you know, so it means this is opening bracket. Since maps key is always closing bracket, so the value, so the value for opening bracket is always undefined. Okay, and if it is closing bracket, then return false, right? So but if there is a map current else, yeah, so but if else, then if it's a closing bracket, then pop, and how to see if it is a match or not? I can just see if it is a match or not by doing this, you know. So if map current, right, if this is equal, then if this is not equal, then return false. Yeah, this sounds good. If either one of these is true, then return false. Otherwise, at last return true. Yeah. I think I cannot just return true at last, because sometimes it can be something like this, you know. So at in the stack, in this case, this opening bracket will remain at the end. So what I should do is, only if stack is empty, only if it is empty, then return true, otherwise I should just return false only. Why? So map closing opening, closing opening, closing opening, stack is empty from 0 to start length, and current si, if map, mm, since yeah, so if this is not present, then it means that this is an opening bracket, so I'll just push it, otherwise I'll pop it. Oh, I should stack dot pop actually, because I also need to remove it. I cannot just to pick, I need to remove that element, right? Yeah, nice. Okay, similar approach. Oh, instead of doing this, I can just do if it is not equal to. Very funny. Why did I do that? Um, Actually, I can just do this, because if it is, I don't even need to check if it is null or not, because if it is not null, then it will just be that. I mean, obviously, any number is not equal to null, right? So yeah. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah, and here also I don't have to pass this. I can only check if it is equal to 0, because this will return true if it is true, otherwise false. Okay, thank you so much. Bye bye.